Cannibal Corpse, like
Cannibal Corpse with all the crazy album covers.
Yeah. Welcome everybody to No, I fucked up.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and people outside of the binary. This is Less Stupid with Thomas Hiura, a show that's completely uncut, uncensored, and underrated, just like this mofo here, a beast on the mic.
Yeah.
Who are you?
I am ThatKidCry. Just a Salem rapper from Oregon. You know, it's really hard to be an Oregon rapper. It's hard to tell people outside the realm of Oregon that you can rap.
Yes. Or
they don't believe
many
you.
people in Oregon too. It's funny. There's like this duality between, is it hard to be an Oregon rapper? Because one, if you're an Oregon rapper, you're probably white, and I'm not really that interested in hearing more white rappers complain about how hard it is to be a white rapper. It's no longer even remotely hard to be a white rapper.
Yeah, there's just too many of them. They're all rappers.
Yes, but the other thing is, well, on some level, it's true. I was talking to my friend Cross K the other day about how there aren't any real top, highest tier, successful, international successful hip hop artists that are from Oregon. What would you say about that?
I disagree sometimes, because you got Amine, obviously. He's from the XXL magazine. He's from outside of Portland.
I forgot that Amine was
He's got hundreds of millions of views on videos. They don't claim him often.
Well,
because
Amine
he's
actually
famous,
performed at my alma mater. Yeah,
because he's famous.
They turn on his ass.
When you blow up, people hate you. Like, they don't like
absolutely.
it. They wanted to be the ones to do it. And, you know, there's two other people that come to mind when I think of people blowing up right now. And that's
You're going to say when?
NK47.
Okay.
And he's got 5 million, 10 million. He gets millions of views on Facebook videos and stuff. People don't acknowledge him out here, though. They don't. They don't show love like that.
Sure.
You know. And then, but because he's getting big, right? Like, Winnie. Winnie's like, she's a female MC.
She's powerful.
She blew up off saying she's Eminem's daughter. Now she's got a JID.
Well, I don't think she did. Did she plant that rumor?
Well, I don't know who planted that. I've seen marketing gimmicks like that and stuff too. So I wouldn't be surprised to find out.
Because she's
I saw
attractive.
her.
She looks kind of like Haley.
Yeah,
like not super close, but you know.
Yeah, I seen her on Twitter arguing with fans about how she's not Eminem's daughter. So like, right. So if it was fake, she was really like into the gimmick, you know.
Okay.
But I don't think it was fake.
Yeah.
But I think.
Well, I'm just really impressed with fucking her.
Yeah, and she's a good
full
MC.
That she put out, if I may.
Yeah, it was a good way to get noticed.
And,
she got on Shade 45. She gets millions of views. She's got
Twista kind of gave her a cosign.
She got a collab with JID from J. Cole's label.
That song was dope.
She's now going on tour with
JID song.
Yeah.
Who do you know here?
Yeah.
Was that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's now going on tour with Earth Gang.
Ego Trip, I think is what it's called. She's going with Earth Gang?
Yeah, she's going on tour with Earth Gang.
She just dropped her dates.
Like,
that's dope.
People from Oregon are killing it right now, but people willfully
You're right. I'm sorry.
keep them out of the conversation.
I've been out of the hip-hop scene for a couple of years, and I just remember it always being all of us struggle MCs, because all those people popped off fairly recently, even Amine, probably 2016.
And then Maddie is a rapper from Salem. But he's not famous for rap. He's famous for that.
I'm thinking of Maddie B raps, that little kid who does like Bieber songs. Okay, sorry. Why am I shutting that person out?
He's like this Asian dude from here in Salem. Like, he's super cool. Like, he used to headline shows out here, but he's not
Asian pride.
Yeah, he's.
If you're not watching this on YouTube, I just did a racist Asian eye stretch on my face. Okay. I'm so self-loathing.
He's not famous for rap though. He's famous for this ASMR stuff. Like,
of course he is.
You know what I mean? So he's got like hundreds of thousands of subscribers, and he's like,
I was ready to hear like a beast on the mic spitting mad freestyle.
He's a beast, but people don't know about that. They know about him crinkling water bottles on
chopping up a potato.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Okay.
I got love for him though. He's making money. He's doing his thing. He's making more than the rappers are making.
What I think, you have a perspective on Oregon hip hop that I think is maybe a little more central to where the people are at than I do as a longtime Eugenian.
Yeah.
You know, because you are in range of Eugene,
I know
but you are really in range of Portland also.
You got the Architects, you got Asal Alomo, you got Sammy Warmhands, you know, you got I pay attention to everywhere, you know, like,
dude, you got eyes and ears everywhere. I see it.
Ben, they got the Hobbyists, they got Noshan, like, you know, like it's heads everywhere. Mosley Wada, down south, there's all kinds of rappers everywhere, man. I could go on for all day.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, you talked about
People don't know
blowing
any
up
of these
and
names.
getting
They're like,
hated.
who?
Well, whatever. You know, this is a part of the Humanity EUG News Network.
I'm obsessed with it. I'm like an encyclopedia if you need to know Oregon rap.
I thought you were saying you're obsessed with my news platform.
No,
I'm
no.
like, no, you're not. I've seen your name not on any of my story viewer lists.
Hey, we're here now.
I'm just fucking with you. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I've actually heard a lot of people when Macklemore popped off, who's probably, you got to say, the biggest Northwest rapper ever.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, Thrift Shop has done numbers that no other song has done in certain categories.
Yeah.
Is crazy, the amount of sales. But then I heard a lot of people saying that he was a dick after he popped off.
But before he popped off, people were fucking with him, right? You had Grinch, you had
he also
Soul,
gave a bunch
you
of
had
money
Blue
to Henri
Scholars.
Osborne's. Remember when his daughter was diagnosed with a disease? Do you fuck with Henri
Yeah,
Osborne?
bro. Yeah. When his daughter was going through it, V, and she got through it and everything.
Right.
It was good to see like so many people supporting him and V, like for all that. Like I donated. Like it's good to see the hip hop community come together for those kind of things. But it's like. And
Absolutely.
Macklemore came back and showed love, right? Like he's on video, like showing love to them and pictures and
he's
sharing
helping
it.
bring up a guy I really like called Travis Thompson. Have you heard that dude?
Yeah,
from
Travis Thompson.
He's about to tour with Watsky.
That's one of my biggest regrets, bro.
Watsky.
One of my biggest regrets. I got offered to open for Travis Thompson last year.
No shit.
I had no idea who it was.
Nah, I get it.
And I was like, oh, I don't want to do it.
No
And
way.
then later I bumped him, and I'm like, oh my god, I should have done that. Like that because he's dope. You know,
he's
like,
mad dope. He definitely reminds me, and this is not a diss, I'm sure he hears this a lot, Chance the Rapper's style and his tone, but mostly just that youthful, fun, bouncy shit I really like from him. And he talks about being from the res. He's got indigenous heritage, and that's like, I'm all about seeing more voices from more backgrounds in more artistic communities.
I like following him on Twitter because he just always
he's mad funny.
talks shit. Like, he goes on. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. So how did you? Oh gosh, see, I was like, you were talking about how the same people who interview you for hip hop stuff always ask you the same fucking questions.
I'm here for it.
But okay, I'll
try to answer
pulled
different.
you in? I know that you're from. I want to talk a little bit about, let's say, like the rural Oregon experience, because you grew up in Toledo,
Toledo,
Oregon, which is now it's about 3,000 people,
yeah, it's
or a little
not
more?
many people, man.
3,050, 3,070, knocking on the door.
Yeah, there was a teacher there teaching us about the roots, an English teacher, and everybody else was listening to Eminem and Tech Nine and 50 Cent, and that was what was popping when I was in school. And so like, that's my only reference for rap.
Those are all really dope too.
Yeah, they're all great.
But,
and they didn't have the influence that like artists I found later had, where I was like, yeah, Eminem, 50 Cent, everybody likes them. I like them. Like, you know, like everybody was just on the same train back then as kids. And then you start to discover, my teacher's like, here's the roots. And then I discover the roots. And then I'm like, oh, there's Mos Def and Talib Kweli and Black Star. And like, and I'm finding Jay Dilla.
That's how that underground, really dope, I guess you would say alternative. There's no real good way to refer to these artists, because it's like, ooh, conscious rap, or ooh, alternative hip hop. It's like, no, it's like everybody doing hip hop is doing hip hop. There's just these natural sort of different bubbles of different tone and content and flavor to it. And I like seeing the different regional scenes have more like freaking crossing communication with each other. For example, Run the Jewels. Yeah. Like you got that hard ass ATL gritty Killer Mike shit, and then you got a totally different kind of hard ass New York tough. You know, I'm not fucking with anything energy from LP. So I love where hip hop is at nowadays.
Yeah, people complain about like there not being real hip hop, or like the mainstream's too mumble rap or whatever. Like, I get that vibe too. Like I'm hearing that stuff and I'm like, I'm not disappointed. Like, there's like some artists where I'm like, I'm not gonna bump that guy, but like it's not all of them, you know. Like there's tons of new age artists where like I'm hearing them, like the Juice WRLD guy and all those, like the Lil Peeps and the XXX. Like I hear
you just
those.
Name 3 dudes who all died. From drugs.
Yeah, but I hear all those guys' music, and I get why people like it. Like, because it was like,
honestly, I would speak from a perspective of having taught young people for a year in New York, 10th grade, 11th grade, but even like middle school is really vibing with XXX Tentacion's.
Yeah, I take care of an 18-year-old kid at at a group home, and he bumps all those guys. Trippy Red and every single one of them. Like
Ski Mask.
Yeah, and I download music for him.
Smoke
and
Perp.
We find all these people
Dude,
that
Smoke Perp is kind of nasty on the mic.
But I don't even like all of them. There's like Kodak Black. I can't really get into
I'm
Kodak
not fucking
Black,
with him,
but people love that dude.
He's on a track I was just listening to, A Boogie with the Hoodie, Drownin'. Have you heard that song?
Yeah.
That's a great song. But then Tech Nine even mentioned it in an interview. He's like, A Boogie with the Hoodie, he's on.
Yeah.
He's on. Then Kodak come on, it's kind of fall off. Like, you're falling off.
I
like,
get it,
it's so real. Tech is so real.
It's almost not even rap. It's like a fusion of like trap hi-hats and music like that. But it's them using vocal styles that are like Good Charlotte, Simple Plan, like Green Day, like you know,
Lil Peep. When I first heard like Awful
Blink
Things,
182, like for sure, like the vibes are that.
Honestly, the 2020s are gonna be. That's going to be popping, and that's going to be more and more genre breaking down as we know them.
Older artists we know that jump onto that train, like where MGK made a whole album where he sounds kind of like that.
Dude,
genre.
he's popping into an acting career now.
Yeah, and him and Youngblood, is it Youngblood or that he did that song with? But it's like,
I don't know.
There's songs he did like that sound like that Good Charlotte, Blink-182 vibe, like where you're like, are they even rapping? Like, are we putting this in the rap category? Like, and rappers are mad that they're making that music, you're like, are you going over to rockers and like country singers like, you shouldn't make this music? Like, it's crazy.
It's a hard thing to tell people that they can't make the music that's in their heart, that they hear in their head, that gets them through their day, that they want to communicate with more people who feel the same way. Of course, there's culture vultures, and if you're gonna participate in a music culture that's not like your own, then you gotta have love for the history. That's why everybody like. Remember when Lil Yachty was talking about how he didn't know five Tupac songs or 5 Biggie songs or something like that?
Yeah.
So you got to have that. But at the same time, it's really hard to tell people. Like, okay, I think 2 genres that are going to be really big this decade are going to be like, we've kind of talked about what I would call white guys screaming over 808s. Yeah. Not all white guys, but yeah, that kind of like vocal delivery from, let's say, even like post-hardcore. Or just pop punk over like 808 trap kind of hi-hat beats. But I think we're also going to see, this has been another thing, it's kind of a groundswell of like artists of color, people of color, like bands in all genres of rock and metal and punk.
Country.
Yeah, and country, of
Country's
course.
got hi-hats now. That's like they almost exclusively sing country over hi-hats. Like,
I feel like the 2010s, the whole decade, they were flirting with going full pop rap, like instrumentation with just a little bit of twang.
Yeah.
And
you can turn any
Trace
country.
Atkins, when he did Honky Tonk Badonka Donk, that's been happening. There's been a lot of, I love country and rap because they're both like, okay, some people are like, identity politics, fuck that. I'm like, no, dude, people have identities and people have communities, and like country is like the rap of the rural America.
Yeah.
And rap is the country of urban
Johnny Cash was a
America.
rapper, man. Johnny Cash
straight up.
He wasn't a good singer.
No.
He's a rapper.
No.
He made good songs.
These are the people that encourage me, people who are not good singers, but they make it as some of the legendary singers.
Yeah.
Bob Dylan.
Yeah.
Bob Dylan from Minnesota. He's from Minnesota.
He's rapping.
I went to college in Minnesota. Do you know anything about Minnesota hip hop? Because they have got it.
A little
they
bit.
have got the biggest hip hop festival in the whole world.
Yeah.
Annually, Atmosphere puts on.
Yeah, that's
Rhymesayers, Soundset.
Yeah, you got. There's
but they also have like their own
tons
wave.
of heads out there. Like there's tons of heads. We were trying to go out there for the tour, and the Montana screwed us over, and we didn't get to make it. But I've never even been there. But I was like trying to go.
We had a show canceled in Montana.
Yeah,
Lisa Vasquez, Sammy
well,
Warmhands.
Montana wasn't the show. The show was in Minnesota.
Okay.
But we had to go through Montana, got stuck.
Oh, okay.
And so we got stuck for
Car
2
troubles,
days.
Van troubles?
No, it was 2 days, and a snowstorm happened while we're driving through, and we couldn't even make it through. So we were like, shit, what do we do? And so we just drove south to Colorado and did some pickup shows, but we wanted to go see the Rhymesayers headquarters and stuff. We were like, we were getting ready to
they
try
always
and
have
go
the
over there.
filthiest lineup you could ever imagine because especially the last 3 or 4 years, they're totally, I mean, a Boogie with the Hoodie they put on. I mean, I saw 2 Chainz there.
Yeah.
They
put on everything.
The whole wave.
Like, they understand that hip hop's not one thing, you know?
Nope.
Yeah.
It sure isn't.
Yeah. Even the boom bap heads and the old heads understand putting on other forms of the genre, you know, like they're not like crying about it, they're working together and everybody else is crying about it, you know?
Right.
Like,
right. I mean, I was just looking in this room at all the variety of artists that I assume you've been on these shows.
Yeah, I've been on shows with juggalos, gangster rappers, conscious heads. I've been on.
I see Mac Lethal.
Yeah, like
I see Crooked Eye.
Dub C, West Side Connection.
Stevie Stone.
You know, like E40 I rock with. Too Short. Like, like Strange
You
Music.
rock with Too Short?
Pigeon John.
You did a song. You did a show with Too Short.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
At the Salem Armory.
Wow. Too Short is on my favorite Lady Gaga album.
Word. All right.
Yes, it's such a good album. Art pop.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the first album where
he just had a
she
kid.
Really. She did?
No, Too Short had a kid.
Oh, okay. All right.
He made a song about it already. It's a dirty song.
Okay. Dude, he made
filthy.
What's that? Oh gosh, I'm so blanking on the name, but it's like a 11-minute song. Why is I blanking on it? Because ICP, you mentioned Juggalos before I did, by the way, which is like a rare thing for me when I have conversations with people about music, is they shout out the Juggalos in a positive way before I do.
Yeah.
Oh, of course there are.
A whole lot of them.
Well, the name of the next time, like I ask you a question and you're talking for about a minute, I will come up with the name of this Too Short song, and then it won't make sense to throw it back into probably what will be a serious conversation point.
That'd be all right.
But I'll do it. But I love Juggalos, man. I've been to. I just counted the other day. I think I've been to 5.5 ICP shows.
I've never been to an ICP show. Okay. But I like Twisted a little bit.
Twisted is amazing.
Yeah, that paper man, what's his hands?
Yeah, Love Don't Live Here Anymore. It's been cold since you went away.
Yeah, that song is crazy.
Well,
I feel like that's like the peak Juggalo.
That's the end of the Twisted with Psychopathic Records era.
Yeah.
Because
that song's
actually,
beautiful. It's a beautiful song.
It's an amazing song. It's on the Abominations album, and they, in many, you could argue rightfully, there's validity on both sides, and as the public, we never get the whole view.
Yeah.
So I want to say, especially because I want to actually eventually, hopefully, have relationships with these people in all these camps. I like the Tech 9 approach. Tech 9 is like Twisted are my dudes, Magic Ninja are my dudes, ICP are my dudes, Psychopathic is my dudes. You know. Unity.
Tech 9 was like a Juggalo before he was Strange Music, right? Like he was coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. Strange Music started in '99, and I believe that Tech was on the Wicked Wonka tour maybe a couple years. I think he had Strange Music as a brand.
Yeah, he was fucking with Juggalos heavy though back then.
Absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely.
Still now, but like then he was like, it was like he was one of them, you know, like.
Well, there was actually a couple years back. Nah, I don't want to reopen stupid things that were like. It's not even really beefs. It's just disagree. It's like misunderstandings and artists having things where like Violent J didn't think, and Shaggy 2 Dope didn't think that Tech 9 gave enough respect to the Juggalo community when they went on Hot 97.
Yeah.
And when Tech was on Hot 97, and they asked him about kind of where he got his independent hustle from.
Didn't he say he wasn't going to be on The Gathering anymore or something like that, or something was happening?
He wasn't going to do the Juggalo March on Washington.
Yeah.
For anybody who likes this show because of like education and politics and news, y'all better know that Juggalos have been doing
gangs.
Legitimate.
It's a gang.
Well, legitimate.
They're a gang.
Dude, my favorite
gang.
political movement is a gang. The Yang Gang, baby. Let's go. Yeah,
they're classified by the government as a gang, right?
It's really it's stupid. 2011, there was a gang assessment list, and yeah, they put them right up there with
They're just crazy fans. They're fans.
Yeah,
they wear makeup and they wear the same.
The world is complicated, right? It's never simple, and there are Juggalo gangs. Yeah, there are gangs that do hood rat shit and have done
Eminem
stuff,
fans
and they claim Juggalo, and that's the hard thing about it. Like I can't blame ICP for that.
Yeah.
You know,
Eminem fans are a gang. The Stans, they're a gang. If that's true, you know.
Yeah,
if you want to start calling everybody a gang,
bro, I went
like,
to a Katy Perry concert, and these
the
7
Barbies,
and 8-year-old
Nicki Minaj's Barbies, they're a gang.
girls were screaming.
Yeah.
Like they were all part of something. I feel like if she had asked them to go burn down like a local retailer, like an arena of 20,000 people, a solid 1,000 are going to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a pretty impressive child
Yeah.
army.
Beyonce has the Beehive, you know. If Beyonce was like, go destroy something today, you think a portion of her fans would probably do it? I think so.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I don't know if that makes you a gang. Just means you have power, I think. But like,
right.
Yeah.
Right. Dude,
that's the artist's fault though, not the fans. Like the fans, they want to blame the fans and make them the gang or whatever. But like, really, it's like everybody's worshiping these artists. You know, like I feel like that's really like where the power lies, is the artist.
Well, the thing that's amazing about hip hop but really about all music now is that anybody can make it. And so like you do have this really intertwined culture of the gangs that are making hip hop. So it's like you can't extrapolate the music really from the culture that it's around.
Yeah.
Like
and these guys
I just remember Bobby Shmurda.
Yeah.
He had that song Hot Nigga, and he said Mitch caught a body about a week ago, and it was true.
Yeah.
Like his homie named Mitch had killed someone,
Ratted him
and he's
out.
just rapping about it, and it was on like one of the biggest rap songs of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then Jay-Z, bringing it back to Beyonce and Jay-Z, who I really want to do a freaking whole podcast series about. Frankly, I love them. more Jay-Z than Beyonce, but he said, I'll Bobby Shmurda anybody you hearda, and that was a pretty hard bar from 444, baby.
Yeah.
Do you fuck with Hove?
Yeah, I actually
while I start on this, this pipe in my hand, give me like 2 or 3 of the greatest MCs that you think, and why.
Okay, I like Hove. I want to say that, like, Hove, like, I have weird stances on Hove because, like, everybody's like, Reasonable Doubt's the best album, blah blah blah, you know, like, and I have Reasonable Doubt, but I wasn't even a fan of that album, you know, like, I was like not into it because I'm not a gangster, right? Like I'm not. I feel like I like music that I relate to, and I wasn't.
That's understandable.
I didn't relate to gangster rap, like, and I wasn't bumping Dub C, even though I rocked with him. I wasn't bumping Ice Cube. I wasn't bumping Ice-T. I wasn't bumping NWA. You know, like,
well, the
that's
first
a different
Jay-Z album to break through for me and touch my life, it had to do with my age, was 2009, The Blueprint 3.
Yeah, Blueprint
that
3
ain't
was
no
crazy.
gang shit at all.
Kingdom Come is an underrated album to me. People hate that album. I think the Beach Chair and all that stuff.
Lost Ones is on that.
Lost Ones, yeah. Lost
Amazing
Ones is one of my
song.
favorite JC songs of all time. Like it's
Show
not,
Me What You Got is not a bad single.
Yeah.
It's a good comeback single.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, but people wanted to hate him at that point. I feel like there was like a need to hate Jay-Z because he was like on top.
I mean, the American Gangster flex was unparalleled though.
Yeah.
Like
I've always seen the argument of Jay-Z or Eminem because they both have like the craziest hip hop records of all time. You know, like where they break records.
Jay-Z
you know?
broke the Beatles record, and
yeah.
Eminem was the most commercially successful hip hop
so
artist
people
ever.
always fight whether those two are the greatest or not. Like
I think
see that
though,
argument.
as we're getting further into the
streaming and all
more
that.
decades of hip hop and seeing where artists are going, man, I think Kanye's gonna make a run for it. You know,
yeah, Kanye's
like there was a long time when LeBron was not considered the greatest, and people still thought Kobe or MJ was. Mm-hmm. And I think that Kanye is in that era where he is the LeBron that's not yet considered LeBron.
Yeah.
But he might not make any more hip hop music that is fully consistent with the genre conventions of hip hop, like meaning the subject matter, the cursing, because who knows? Because he does tend to change his mind a lot. But he said he's only going to do gospel music now, only stuff that
without
lifts up the Lord.
Kanye, I got really into Kanye, and back to your
Kanye's first hip hop album I ever bought, Late Registration.
Yeah, Late Registration. There was Graduation. There was, College Dropout. There's like My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Like I was a Kanye fan up until a little after 808s and My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Like that's where I kind of hopped off the Kanye train, where I wasn't like super into him like that in his new music, but I still bump the old shit. I still listen to College Dropout. I still listen to Late Registration and Graduation. I remember the feuds with like late register or graduation versus Before I Self-Destruct with the 50
absolutely.
Cent, and like they were like marketing against each other.
Self-destructed. I'm not dissing.
It's crazy.
It's a good album. That was actually a
wouldn't-
pretty good 50 album. No.
Yeah.
You're actually thinking of Curtis.
Yeah,
Curtis is the one
It was
that dropped.
Curtis. Yeah, it wasn't Before.
By the time Before I Self-Destruct came out,
It was after
50
Curtis.
Cent's, frankly, his peak as a hip hop artist was over.
Yeah.
But entrepreneurship is amazing.
But
that's the thing.
yeah, he's stayed rich and he's into movies and
he's
shows
into
and-
vodka and all sorts of hustles.
Yeah.
So I'm not knocking the dude.
Yeah.
He's a club rapper. Club rappers never tend to stay at the top of. Besides Drake,
They want money.
people don't tend to stay
It's
at the
money.
top of the game for more than 2 or 3 years
Yeah.
if they're making club music. That's just kind of not how it is.
Yeah, the money rappers find other ways to make money after they're tired of being a rapper. Like,
Right.
that's what they do. You know, they're about money. Like, it's money.
I mean, they've been talking about it. It's
Money,
why are you surprised?
Yeah,
they're
like-
business people.
Yeah, like
every
they're all,
bar.
Yeah, Jay-Z was
Yeah.
about money too. Like, but Jay-Z's
Yep.
more lyrical. Like, so he was, he was flirting with the idea, right?
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
lyrically probably be Talib Kweli. Like,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
you're
yeah.
like he's flirting with the idea.
Jay-Z,
he
man.
wants to be a lyricist.
But then with hip hop
Like-
aging, Jay-Z now is like there's all the most recent way that Jay-Z has been kind of relevant is like everyone
Yeah.
just clowns on him for being a dad.
There's kids
Like,
who watch this podcast
he's
right
the
now
ultimate
listening to
dad
who we're talking
rapper.
about, and they're like, "Who gives a fuck?"
But now
like,
yeah.
because it's like we're talking about old
Oh,
shit, right?
absolutely.
But it's like,
Absolutely. You
Even-
and I talking about Jay-Z right now
Yeah.
to a 12-year-old
Yeah.
is the same as like, I don't know, my friend's parents talking about Van Halen when I was in
Yeah.
elementary school and I was like, I don't know,
Yeah.
Poison.
Yeah.
You know?
back to your like top artist question. Like, I wouldn't have discovered my favorite artist without hearing Kanye and being into Kanye.
Absolutely.
Because my favorite artist was
He's an
Lupe.
amazing curator of, there you go.
Lupe Fiasco is my number
Oh
one.
my God.
So like I hear him because he's on
Yes.
Kanye's album.
Yes, who's on
And
third?
I was like,
Lupe
who-
first, like Lupe
I was
in the
like,
third.
yeah, I was like, who's this
Yeah.
guy? I was going crazy because I was like, I gotta discover more of this guy's
Bottle
stuff.
shaped body like Mrs. Butterworth.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yes.
Yeah, I when I'm hearing Lupe on Kanye's album, I'm like, I gotta go listen to more of this guy. And then when I fell into like the Cool and Food and Liquor and all that, like then I'm like,
Tetsuo and Youth.
yeah, I thought it was good. I'm a Lupe fan though, so I'm a little biased, but like I feel like people hated on it and didn't like it, you know, like
Fair.
but Dotted Lines and like all that stuff,
Yep.
or Dots and Lines, or
I don't know.
but like he's talking about don't sign contracts because he got screwed over. He
yeah.
was a huge like. He had all this controversy around him and was Atlantic and they're shelving his albums
Right.
because he was trying to drop a 3-disc album to get out of his contract. So he was like he had 3 albums left on his
Okay.
contract and he's like, okay, I'm gonna drop a 3-disc album and that's my contract.
Sure.
And they shelved it.
A lot of artists
it was supposed
have
to
done
be
that.
called
ICP did that to get out of Island. They did a double album.
Yeah, it was supposed to be called LUP End, and he advertised the shit out of it in his music. Even you heard him talking about LUP End in his music before it happened. You know, like, and then it didn't happen. It got shelved. Obviously, Atlantic's giving him shit. He's trying to get the albums released. They won't let him. He had his fans protesting outside.
This all reminds me of Kesha. Like,
Yeah.
you know, when well, that's a very different issue that affects that.
Yeah.
But
They released lasers because the fans protested so hard.
Right.
So the fans went outside the company and just like release Lupe's album, like going nuts, like, and
Yeah.
they dropped it, like, so, and then
wow, okay.
Yeah.
How are the people,
Yeah,
motherfucker?
I respect Lupe for that kind of shit. You know,
Yeah.
like I see that stuff and it gets me excited because I'm like, he broke through
Yep.
the bullshit eventually, you know, like it
Right.
was tough for him,
Right.
and you're on that journey with him when you're
Yeah.
watching it. You're like, it's not just the music, you're like watching the politics and the
Sure.
yeah, like it's crazy. Like I've never met him. I saw him live once. I don't honestly want to meet him because I feel like even like meeting the guys that you idolize, you
Yep.
find out things you don't want to know about them, or you
Absolutely.
find out that they're this kind of person or that kind of person. Like,
You know
I
what?
don't care. I like him how he is now.
I paid
That's how I would.
I paid a pretty stiff VIP plus ticket cost for 2 people to go to the Wow Hall and meet Hobson, Funk Volume 2013
Yeah.
tour. That guy was not a fun person to meet at all.
Yeah.
And then later I hear him rapping about how much he hated his manager and he hated all the VIP everyday meet and greets he had to do. And frankly, if I'm a social person, even I like to withdraw sometimes, even on the road,
you
especially.
try to forget everybody that you idolize as a human.
Absolutely, and not everybody is as social a person.
Yeah.
Hobson had a really fucked up childhood and difficulties, and was put in special ed classes because no one thought that he, because he had behavioral issues and all these frankly things I see affecting young black youth a lot. And then was able to basically persist through that, make music. I think he got his mom a house. Yeah, that's
and he's
amazing.
done lots of good things, but then
he's the kind of antisocial dude.
He's got all this drama and controversy around him too. He left the Fort Collins show, his kid in Australia, and that lady drama. And then there's all kinds of drama behind Hobson where you're like, people started to think he was whiny and stuff. I feel like he kind of
he's always been whiny though. I mean, that's always been his style and his energy and the way he tackles and approaches the hip hop world.
Yeah,
the music world.
Once they stopped paying attention to how his ability, his ability was what caught everybody, I feel like. And the things he's saying, controversial things, he's cross-dressing in music videos and wearing
wearing his Eminem influence on his sleeve.
Yeah,
strongly.
Yeah, and that blew him up. And he's got
my pants.
He had the
Ill Mind every year. That was a smart gimmick, man.
Funk Volume.
The first two, I think even one of the first two wasn't even a rap video. Ill Mind of Hobson.
Yeah,
it was him making he was making a dolly out of a shopping cart. Camera dolly.
I see him on my timeline working with Cypress Jones, who's a Portland head.
Okay.
That lives in L.A. and has his own studio now, and a film studio where he films he just built it, and it looks crazy in pictures. I haven't been there in person, but he's filmed videos for Kodak Black and
Hobson
the Cypress Jones guy from Portland, but currently he's doing videos with Hobson, and he's had him in there multiple times that I've seen on their stories and stuff. So it's cool to see Hobson's in the background creating still. He's not making a lot of noise as far as we haven't heard a lot of new music, right? We haven't heard. But I
mean, there was that he put out a song about, I don't remember what it's called, but the hook was, "I don't want it no more."
Yeah,
I don't.
He
want
makes
it
a lot of songs
more.
about wanting to quit hip hop and stuff. People got tired of that too. I feel like, but
I mean, the most transcendent hit for him started out with the bar, "Man, I hate rap, but if the shoe fits, wear it."
Yeah,
he's on Illmind 5, I think it was, and that was where he dissed Lil Wayne's fans, and he basically dissed everybody in his culture that he saw around him in his generation that he didn't think was living up to his idea of the world. So then also people think not only is he corny, but he's also preachy, and people. Yeah. It's funny because
he stood up against Eazy-E's wife, and that got people's attention initially.
Ruthless
that was
Records.
the first thing, right?
Right.
The first thing we saw of Hobson
because his album never got to come out on Ruthless, right?
Yeah.
Or did it come out? I don't even think it ever did.
They shelved it or something.
Yeah, they
and
never
he went
came
crazy and dissed her and did
absolutely,
and people liked that he stood up for himself.
Yeah,
and he blew up because of it. You know what I mean?
I think more and more we're seeing in the culture. I live in the political world a lot. I follow news all the time. I share news. I try to do my own kind of reporting. And motherfucker, people have respect who are brash and assertive with their beliefs. Yeah. And that's not always the way that Oregon or where I live, Minnesota, they're not about it. They actually honestly resent people who, I don't know if it's a little pretentious to say, are liberated enough to speak so brashly and forwardly about how they feel. Yeah. But dude, that's New York all the way. I live in New York. That's how it is. People are like that, and it's beautiful.
That's what rap's about, right? Speak your mind, talk your mind, make your music. Say your purpose, say your morals, say your values.
Well, I was thinking of rappers considered preachy and corny. And
they're preachy. They're preachy.
Well, J. Cole is someone who I think, frankly, there's another person. He could be one of the greatest. He could become one of the greatest because he's never done anything low quality. He's never put out anything that's low quality.
Yeah.
And he has his lane, his style. He's adapting and growing. Mm-hmm. But he's always had his same messages. And actually, one of the first times I actually heard you rapping was the Fire Squad remix.
Oh yeah.
That's a flame ass beat, dude. That's a good beat.
Yeah, I wanted to rap on that. I heard him do it, and I was like, damn, that's dope. And then I was like, that beat's crazy. I had to be a rapper and hop on someone else's song.
I mean,
like, it was you just want to remix stuff all the time though as a rapper. You're like, and then I can't count how many tracks I didn't remix because I'm like sitting here convincing myself like, don't touch it, don't touch it, don't touch it. You know, like, because
dude, jump on it as soon as you can. Because people want to hear that shit when something pops off. They want to hear. Like, I feel like maybe I'm naive, but I've been sitting kind of on the sidelines of hip hop for a few years. I haven't put out anything actual project since 2014. 6 years. So I don't know how like the best way is to like become famous besides going viral or like slowly slogging it out and building your fan base. But in a way, I think like if money were not an object, you take anybody who's really, really talented nowadays, like Win, and make a conscious effort to like try to blow up. You can get there. Like TikTok, Instagram, SoundCloud. If you're really trying to like actually make dope remixes to all the new shit that comes out, I feel like you can get there. But life doesn't always like
line up.
And
we all got drama. We all got our own background stuff going on.
Moses doesn't make the Red Sea part.
Family and friends going through it. You gotta help them. You gotta
be an artist.
You go through your life stuff. Like, I mean,
well, most artists deal with fucked up shit or like have mental.
That's what the songs are. That's what the songs are for. You know,
otherwise they wouldn't have that shit floating around their head. They always need to get out.
If we were happy, we wouldn't make music. There's happy songs, but like, I mean, I feel like artists really have to like consciously think about a happy song and try to make it. You know, like a lot of artists, it doesn't come natural. Like a happy song, like they're like, ooh, they think it's like a special thing, like to make a happy song. Like, I'm gonna make a happy song for once. You know, like
yes, I love happy rap, dude.
Yeah.
Happy rap is the bomb.
You got people like Chance the Rapper and stuff pushing that kind of rap. You
positive
know, like,
as shit. Well, that's why everyone hated his The Big Day album.
Yeah.
Did you hear that? Did you actually listen to that album? It was a long one.
It's
I call it revival syndrome. Sometimes an artist gets to a point in their career, they're trying to make an album where they just are doing too many
positive influence.
Things,
you know, positive
too many
influence.
different things.
Yeah.
And
please hold.
Speaking of trying to do too many different things at the same time, I try to do an unedited show.
Yeah.
So like, just refilling the cannabis while trying to BS about rappers. But yeah, mental shit. What kind of mental shit? See, I asked you if there's anything off limits. Have you dealt with like depression or anything like that?
Yeah. I have songs about like
most tactful mental health segue ever.
Yeah, like
tell me about your mental shit.
Man, that's it. You want to get deep?
I do. All day.
Yeah, artists make songs about that kind of stuff for sure, but I've only ever felt like, on that kill yourself vibe, like where you're like, everybody's like, I feel like everybody's on that right now, like where it's weird, like you don't know who's actually sad and who's not, You're like,
I mean, it is definitely in hip hop, but also broadly, mental health. There's so much energy now towards like reducing the stigma and speaking out and being open.
We're like hyper focused on our mental health right now. Like everybody's like, like I feel like that's why we write about it, right? Like everybody's kind of like, you're like, I am growing through it. Like, because everybody else is talking about it.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. I actually think like sometimes the word anxiety, saying it makes people more anxious. I don't like to talk about my anxiety because, first of all, I think it's obvious I'm an anxious person. I'm kind of always ramped up and fidgety and blah blah blah. But
that anxiety track that we did, the Imposter, the Rizzle, and
I didn't hear that one.
We did a music video for a song called My Anxiety. That's the last music video we dropped.
Okay.
But it was like, I was sitting in here having anxiety about some shit and just wanted to write about it because I felt like, like I wanted to put that feeling in the song, where like it translated, like I feel like it's like my anxiety just takes its hold. It likes to take its time. Nice. If I'm annoying, could you let me know? Bet I could change your mind. Nice. And so it's kind of whiny, right? Like it's like
you know what?
Anxiety feels whiny.
Papa Roach did a song with the Black Eyed Peas on Elephant. It's called Anxiety. It's whiny as hell. Take away my anxiety. Yeah. Feeling of an insane rivalry. Something on my knees.
Chris
you know what?
Chris
in
Calico.
that decade, the 2000s, right? Everybody was on their knees. Yeah. I feel like that's in every song. Yeah. Now I'm on my knees.
Yeah.
Dude.
Chris Calico makes the decade. Anxiety song, and then
right.
Recognize, I think, makes an anxiety song.
Yep.
Like, there's the anxiety is killing me. Like everybody.
Dude, you did a show with Rec. I saw that one too.
That's one of my favorite. He's one of my top 5. I wasn't disappointed to meet him. He was a cool ass dude.
Amazing.
He's a cool ass dude.
You know what? One of his illest verses is on So Dope.
Yeah.
With Twisted Insane's Know the Product and Tech 9.
Yeah.
That is an amazing song.
One of my favorite.
Best thing about that song, the 3 dudes are on it, and they all talk about how they're so good at rapping that women want to have sex with them.
Yeah.
The 4th verse is a woman who's really good at rapping and raps about it. She doesn't want to have sex with all these losers.
The one that hooked me is Shortcuts and Dead Ends, and that's the one they play at the end of every show. They play it at the very end, and I'm treading water in the deep end. I'm trying to kill off all my demons.
Hey.
Embrace my flaws and all my defects and my shortcuts and dead ends. Like, I love that. That song like gives me chills almost every time I hear it, because it's like got a vibe to it that like they meant what they're saying in the song, and you can hear it. Like, I feel like the words are hitting you over the head because you're like being hit over the head with an emotion at the same time, like where it's like,
absolutely,
it's crazy to listen to that song.
Live music is so much about communion, brother.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, bro.
It's communion. Speaking of which, absolutely. Some of the most powerful experiences of my life of instant connection are at concerts, because everybody is there to celebrate something that gets them through their daily hustle, their daily grind.
I feel like
there's that's why everyone assumes that like there's fights at Juggalo shows. There's almost never fights at Juggalo shows because it's all
they see things like,
dude, it's church.
They see things like The Gathering, where like Tilo Tequila's trailer's getting flipped over and shit. Like that's where they're looking.
Well, they really pelted her with things, and that was fucked up.
And shit.
And honestly, the ICP seminar,
it's crazy.
Violent J, Joseph Bruce, and Joey Utzler, they were literally telling the Juggalos, please don't throw the shit. I know you guys like to throw shit at famous people. Yeah. Don't throw the shit. We're really excited about her. We really are hoping she has a good time. And I wonder if that even made them do it more. Because Juggalos, many Juggalos, and I am a loving, loyal ass Juggalo.
Juggalos are like crust punks with face paint.
Juggalos are very, they're deeply anti-authority. Anybody telling them what to do does not vibe with their
They're like, okay,
style.
I'm going to do it.
Like, absolutely.
That's what it is.
Absolutely.
It's that energy. Like crust punks and like punks. Like
I think that's part,
where they're like, they're that anti-establishment energy too, like where they're like, and if you tell like a crust punk guy like you don't shit in the top of the toilet, he's gonna go shit on the top of the toilet.
Absolutely.
I don't know why you would tell him that, but you know, but like that's the type of shit I was seeing when I was hanging out with like punk rock guys, like where like they're just like painting words on the wall with their shit and stuff like that because they think it's funny. Like it's a comedy thing. Like it's not even like all malicious. It's like they think it's hilarious to shock people, know, like because people are like they come in the bathroom and see that and they're like, like it's like a joke, it's a prank, like it's
actually that's part of the reason why I think some of the goals of like okay, free speech as an issue, that's something I've always cared about. Frank Zappa, you like that guy?
Yeah.
You know that guy?
Yeah.
He fought for free speech, and that is a liberal thing to do, and it was always a liberal thing to do. And I would basically say it still is in the definition of that word, but like now people who would identify themselves more as progressive or liberal, if you talk about free speech, you know, they're not the people fighting at the forefront of those kinds of things because free speech is inconvenient. Like, it allows the dumbest and most shitty whack things to be said
if you want
without
everybody
consequence.
To be able, if you want everybody to be able to talk, you mean everybody.
Yeah, then everybody can talk about pretty much anything.
Yeah. But there's a lot of dumb shit being talked about, and
there is. You call out a lot of dumb shit on
the dumb shit gets more clicks too. You know what I mean? Like, people know that.
But here's my thing with it is that I am not pro this kind of dumb shit. I want to counteract and neutralize it instead of pushing it away and making it grow.
Yeah.
I think you add speech. You don't censor. You allow terrible views to be articulated, present themselves as the terrible views they are, then meet them on that battleground of ideas and show up with your own, you know, more convincing point.
Yeah.
But if you don't do that at all and you just unfriend and you just, you know, push, you just... I think, you know, some people need to be unfriended, whatever. You take care of yourself how you want. But I think it's a problem when people, because it's an inconvenient perspective or a perspective that they don't agree with, that shows up in their, let's say, their feed, they just want to make it go away.
I always try to give people, even online or in person, whatever, the respect of like a conversation. But like when the conversation starts badly is when it gets hard. You're like, I can't cut through this because you're clearly just already decided before the conversation started that you are very upset, and it's going to be hard to talk you out of being upset. And I can see that because we've been in this conversation a bunch of times with other people, you know, like, and you can like, we can take it individual base by base, like, and talk to people one-on-one, but like, some people just don't want to hear what you have to say. They're like, I hate that fucking guy. Like, they're there to talk to you because they hate you.
True.
Like, we're like, I've had that.
And I think what's amplified too, there's so many things that are amplified on social media, but if people are being confronted or they're being outsmarted, you know, with facts or whatever, they're super embarrassed because they feel like it's in a giant room where everybody's seeing it. Yeah. Many of the time, bullshit, no one saw that. You know, sometimes a lot of people see it and it's annoying and you got to deal with it in your work life or some bullshit, but like I don't know,
you call someone out for something they associated with, even like it's that guilt by association vibe where like,
oh, I don't like that,
and people are like, and people are like jumping on this person because like I jumped at like recently I jumped at a girl for co-signing a pedophile and putting him on shows, right?
Didn't
people
that
are
guy
mad
threaten your family
2 years ago, and then but like while I'm talking trash on her for booking it, people are upset at me because they like her, right? And she's a good person otherwise.
Sure,
I agree. I'm not saying she's not a terrible person.
Sure.
I'm saying...
But she made that decision.
I'm saying you look who you're booking. This is who you're booking. And when you give someone that information and they're like, oh, I don't know. Like, I don't know what to do. I'm going to keep them on the show. Like, and everybody else is telling you, get them off the show, get them off the show. Like...
Venues have power, dude. Any institution with power, any booking agent that has access to a space people want to perform at, you gotta wield your power responsibly as much as you can.
I get a lot of hate from pointing out things.
But you gotta, I think accountability is one of my favorite words. Yeah. Because it means...
Yeah, you're being accountable for everything that you've done. Like, you know, and you might have paid the price in court
change
or
of
whatever.
Behavior. And if nobody like... You know, okay, people that are articulating my side of this thing would say they don't like call out culture. I don't love call out culture and cancel culture, but like things need to be called out sometimes. Things need to be exposed sometimes so that the behavior changes and so that we're not all complicit in bullshit happening. Because if there's anything that the human species has done historically for every generation ever, it's be complicit in bad shit that happens.
Well, and when you call someone out for bad shit, they like take what you say and they twist it to mean something else. They're like, he's mad because he doesn't want to be on, or he wanted to be on the show and the pedophile got the spot. And I'm like, no,
that is
like,
wow.
Yeah, I got accused of
so
that,
all
bro.
Of a sudden, for defending children, you are...
Yeah, that's why.
Just a struggle rapper who
I really wanted to be on
yourself. Wow, man.
Look at all these shows.
Because you know, all these famous rappers, they blow up by defending children. Yeah. That's really the lane to rap success. Yeah. Is call out pedophilia.
But there's I don't want to even be successful, like, you know, off calling out pedophilia. Like that's that's community. Like that's like where like I don't just try to be famous. I fuck with my community, right?
Yes.
So like I'm throwing shows for my community too. Like I know how these charity shows work. Like you don't have to book a pedophile on the lineup to be on a charity show for a little girl dying of cancer, but when you do that and somebody calls you out, accountability. Like,
sure,
you know, feel like I'm not even telling people not to fuck with this chick. Like, I'm telling them she booked a pedophile. Watch out! Don't bring your kids to that show. Or if you don't
fucking fair.
Don't act righteous for the cause when you got a pedophile raising money for a little dying girl. Like, you know, like it's kind of weird. Like it feels like you're just trying to get street cred off throwing like benefit shows, you know, like where like I'm gonna work with every single person and not be discriminatory, but like like I get that, like, but when you see like a guy has like 6 sex abuse charges and a pedophilia charge in this specific case we're talking about, but base it on the individual. Don't like.
Sometimes I am such a stickler for being specific. For being specific about who we're talking about, what we're talking about. I would say, and maybe this is like splitting hairs, not 100% of pedophiles are bad people, but you need to restrain that impulse that you have, just like anybody with a bad impulse in life would have. So it's about behavior. So when I hear you say 6 or 7 abuse charges, I'm like, he's a
repeat offender, right?
Yeah,
like, that's what you feel like. And there's like 17% of untreated people reoffend, and 11% of people who are treated and reformed still reoffend. You know, like I take care of.
That's a pretty small percent, but it's
a small percent, but it's a percent. You know,
what
like,
I'm saying,
something.
The rehabilitation,
your kid is at risk.
It works.
You know, like and
dude, here's the thing.
I've worked I have a close like eye on this kind of stuff also, because people might not know that I worked in or I still work in mental health and caregiving.
I didn't know that.
For the last 9 years, you know, like, so
amazing.
For 8 years, I took care of gentlemen who specifically are mentally handicapped and have sex offenses. You know, so like I have like,
that's amazing work.
I follow guys in the community to make sure they don't go to your kid's school. I follow guys in the community and make sure they don't grab your kid in the store. Like I'm following these guys around, like, you know, watching their hands and where their eyes are looking and making sure they're like, literally that's our job, to like follow these guys and help them reform themselves because they have issues in their head, you know, like. And so this kind of topic is close to me because I like I'm hands on with it already. Like I know what things take to reform, and like so I have a strong opinion on someone who's had like 6 or 7 sex offenses. I'm like, okay, well maybe that guy doesn't need to be part of the community, or maybe he doesn't need to be rewarded by being put on stage in front of 500 people and influencing children. Or bringing like his original sex offense that everybody's so mad about. He brought a girl home from a show, you know, or to a hotel. I mean, not home, but she brought her to a hotel. She's a 15-year-old girl, got with her.
Geez.
You know, like, so what do we, like, I seen him say that with his own words on Facebook. Like, he's come clean with that kind of stuff. He's taken accountability multiple times year after year, but he fucks up year after year. So, like, we're like, you want to keep fucking up with this guy, or do you guys want to move forward yet? You know, like, that's how I feel, you know, like, and I fuck with this girl that booked him, and now I can't, because I'm like, are you going to book me on a show with a pedophile without me knowing? Like, you know, like that type of shit. Like, that's this is shit I don't want to be a part of. You know,
reminds me of a conversation I had with my friend Kyron Johnson, who was episode 152 of this show, and he was saying he doesn't really fuck with Seinfeld because Michael Richards, Kramer's racist rant on stage at a comedy club, and it's like, even if it was just one incident.
It happens in the industry too, like R. Kelly, Kevin Spacey. Like, do you still like?
Well, those are two examples that you named of people who just tried to dodge or evade.
Do you see the Kevin Spacey shit? Like 4 guys that have accused him have died or something like that.
He was like, he came out as gay, and he was like, he tried to use it as a distraction.
It's crazy now.
Crazy.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on in this world. But I had pushback for going at this guy because people are also annoyed with seeing me talk about it.
Okay.
You know, so
Interesting.
I got a lot of feedback
and you're
from
a
people.
Parent,
yeah,
and you are a
I'm
concerned member of the community.
Like I have a 12-year-old, bro.
Right.
Like I'm like, that's where my head's at now. There used to be guys before I had any kids, like this house, the same house I live in was a flop house. We'd like wake up 20 people deep on the floor every morning just after an all nighter, just raging out. Like we partied, you know, like we did crazy shit as kids too, you know, like, and then you age and you have kids and your brain changes and you're like, you start to be concerned with things and you're like that you weren't concerned with at all. Like before, like, you know, like it's crazy. Like your views change the older you get. Like
right. Well, what I was kind of thinking of when I grabbed your arm and I was like, here's the thing, bud. It's like, I actually think indigenous communities, like I really like this Make America Native Again thing you have, Savell the Native.
Yeah, Savell,
it's up here. It's not in the shot, but maybe I'll throw in a shot of it.
Yeah.
And I think from my understanding of the history of those peoples, much better sense of like, oh, there's a community concern. Let's get together and let's do like a restorative justice kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's not about like locking people up. And that tends to be places where they don't learn to change their behavior for long-term strategies for success, enter the community again productively, you know. That's what we need more of.
Yeah.
But in today's culture, everybody is. It's easy to be all in your own world, and I live that way.
Yeah.
You know, we all kind of live that way.
Yeah.
I try to reach out and share things and know things, but like day to day, I'm with myself in my own world, and when everybody's living like that, we miss out on the ability to see like everybody as our neighbors, community friend, community partners, you know, share people that you have a share in together in this thing we call Salem or Eugene or Oregon or
I'm always trying to spread
Marion
it.
County.
I'm trying to spread it out. Like in between all these posts where I'm calling people out, you can see me sharing people's posts and sharing people's new albums and tagging new artists, saying I invited 3,000 people to go like their page. Like, you know, you go scroll down my timeline, you can discover hundreds of artists in just a few hours, like just scrolling.
Yeah.
Like that's literally how on it I am. I'm sharing people every time I see it.
That's love,
like,
dude.
and there's
Reminds
the
me of
Salem
my friend Christopher Michael Jensen. Have you heard of that guy?
Yeah.
He's doing it in Minneapolis, St. Paul.
He
puts on for everybody when he goes
about
to
these
live
people,
shows,
bro, like,
and he takes photos of the artists and posts them with like tagged, you know, profile links and video links and stuff. And that is community. That's okay.
Showing
here's the
love,
thing.
using
so
your
much is
platforms,
made
you know?
of like phone addiction, because that's the culture we live in. And I was a teacher in training. It's a problem in classrooms. Blah, blah. Everybody's addicted to their phones in a way. Yeah. I am, but at the same time, like, you know, what are they doing on that phone? That's one of the things that's the trouble with society is like you can't tell what a person is doing. You can't tell if behavior needs to be addressed, or they're like writing a novel that's going to be brilliant, or they're doing work that's important. And but like that's one of the things that is positive that I do like about the Zoomers and millennials is that we kind of inherited a world post Vietnam War, where it's like, what is this idea of America? What do we do as a country? Are we proud of everything that this country has done around the world? I don't know. But we're inheriting a situation that feels dire. The Zoomers, especially with the climate and all the stuff. Yeah.
I'm worried for my kids in the future.
Yeah, absolutely.
Scared for them.
And we're like trying to reach out and find communities. Like I've had some Facebook groups, even like shit posting groups for like Weezer and stuff that end up being one of the most, I guess, validating, but also just like stimulating. I'm a part of this world.
Yeah.
I have people that I'm sharing stuff with that we have a common interest. Those are real communities.
Yeah, but right now the culture is all about like picking sides. Like everybody wants to have an issue to argue about and pick a side. Like that's how I view the internet. Like a lot of the times, like I was saying that just to say like I'm showing love to all these people and I'm calling out people. Like at the same time, like I'm just being truthful, whether it's negative or positive. I don't care. Like people care if it's negative or positive, but I don't care. I'm like negativity and positivity go hand in hand. They exist, you know. Like I see negativity as normalcy. Like where like that happens, you know. Like, but people respond to negativity more too. You go look down my timeline, you'll see all the artists I share, all the people I show love to don't get love from my fans. There's 1 or 2 likes, but then I talk shit on somebody or call somebody out.
Oh, and it's like
250 comments, like blah, blah,
yeah.
blah, blah. Like, it's
Yep.
crazy. It's
Yep.
nothing. Like, I see it with my own eyes, like, and people will accuse me of, like, you only talk shit and blah, 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 and you
Right.
only say negative shit and talk
Right.
shit. I'm like, no, you guys only pay attention to that shit. Like, I'm posting all kinds of shit. I'm sharing all your homies, all my homies, like, all your people.
It
like, all my
sucks.
people. Like, I'm,
Right.
yeah,
the
like,
algorithm,
you don't see
dude,
that. You're like,
you're lit, but it's literally true. It sucks though, you know,
Yeah.
because actually Facebook and these different companies are like analyzing every step we take.
They
every
know
time you
we
look at a
react to
post, it sees
negativity.
how long you look at it. You know, the images, moving images, you know, that are designed to make you stay and look at it.
Yeah.
You know, even if you don't leave a comment, if you tap on the thing that says like view more comments, that's an engagement. So it's going to show you more stuff from that person, that source. And so literally some people might not see it, but you're totally right. It sucks when you're out there putting your name on the line for all these different artists. Maybe you don't even know
Nobody
them very
gives
well
a fuck.
personally, you know, but you're putting your name on the line just to support them. And you're putting, it's the attention economy is what a lot of people call it. We're in an economy of attention. These companies, every single time you scroll to the next thing, they're making money.
Yeah.
And so that's why Andrew Yang was saying that he thinks that we should get a check in the mail for the data that these companies are profiting off of.
$1,000 a month, he said, right?
Yeah, but also that's for the universal basic income, the freedom dividend, which we just passed a military spending bill, or a spending bill that was mostly military because the federal budget is dominated by the military. And you know, it said that, or he was saying that that amount of money would have been able to fund that freedom dividend for 1 full year for everybody in the country, every adult to get $1,000 a month. So anyway, it's just. I'm not gonna. I don't feel like I am. Do you want to talk about that? Do you want to talk about politics?
I don't
it doesn't
know.
seem like it's really your lane, and I want to.
If people want to know, I'm a Bernie guy.
Right on, dude.
I like Bernie.
He is.
I like
Joe Biden is.
I like
sweating,
Yang,
dude.
and I also like Tulsi too. You know, if any one of those 3 got the nomination, I would vote for any of them. Yang, Tulsi, or Bernie.
They are
like,
fiercely independent-minded people.
Tulsi is anti-war, which I really like, and she was in war, so like that's good. Like I really like
She's
that
got
stance.
that
Like
inner perspective on it to know that some of those missions are misguided. Many of them are misguided.
I like somebody who understands and was in war and is also anti-war.
It's
like,
actually funny because that used to be a norm. You know, Eisenhower, many, you know, even frankly presidents who were had military experience.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you know, okay, I don't think it's a necessary prerequisite.
There's corruption.
Because maybe you don't like the military or you know whatever. But
yeah.
What other job or industry or field could you become the boss of the whole operation and never have any experience in what the retail like people are doing or like the bottom line people are doing? Like
I don't know. There's a lot of
isn't that funny that
there's a lot of that. Promoters even like
Right.
in the rap world, like a promoter
but they
doesn't
kind
necessarily
of,
know how to
their
rap
lack
or anything.
of knowledge
like
and experience tends to get exposed.
Yeah.
I think.
Bad promoters, they get exposed. Like not every promoter can rap. They know how to promote. They're promoting to people, right? Like that's not they're overseeing music, like and controlling who gets to open for what, and they have the money, you know, like and the rappers follow the guys with the money,
right?
Like, and that's those guys at the top level don't necessarily know how to be the best rapper or what their opinion of who the best rapper is or if there is a best like they see it as a money game, like they're playing for money, right? Like and it's not that's what careers are all about, I guess. Money, but it's all capitalist based. Everything's just led by a capitalist.
Well, the thing that is like, tough is like, okay, let's say you don't
I
like.
love capitalism.
Let's say people don't like exactly.
But I have all this shit.
I think capitalism is the system that we are going to need to modify and make better and continue to live under. Yeah. At least in the short term. When
it's beating, capitalism can beat you over the head with a stick and make you bloody too. Like that's
right, exactly.
It's tough. Like
exactly.
You can win and you can lose. Like
right. And I do think that it actually leads to a lot of. I don't know if mental health is the best way to put it, but like your sense of purpose being tied up in how much you're able to make in terms of money, and then all the different inflation and healthcare costs are all kind of just like slowly rising, and our wages are stagnated, so they're not keeping up with that growth. And so when you are looking and you come home to your kids and like, they want, this toy for Christmas, and they want, to be able to go out to eat at this restaurant, and it's like you're looking at the budget and you can't make it happen. That is like one of the most empty holes that a person feels night after night, and it grows and gets worse. And if you don't have a way out of it, and if you're like, you got debt that's like accruing, and you're not, and you're actually drowning in it, dude, that's kind of a man-made.
Yeah, it's a man-made
hell.
Thing. Yeah,
that's kind of a man-made hell.
And I was reading like the most suicides per year occur in December around Christmas time, like because guys, dads especially, are out there feeling ones that don't have the money to buy the things that their kids want or make Christmas good. You can't even have Christmas dinner this year or something, or you got to go to the food bank to get it or whatever the hell. Like it is what it is. Like. But they beat themselves up about that stuff, and they end up committing suicide over it. Like, and it's a big deal. Like, but it's capital. It's like a capitalist trap. Like where you're mentally trapping yourself in that for sure. Like where you're like, I have completely. Honestly, I've detached from like the meanings of Christmas and all that stuff. Like personally, I'm not a big Christmas guy. I was born on Christmas Day. Like, oh, interesting. So like when I'm celebrating my birthday
Vanilla
every year,
Ice was born on Halloween.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I don't know why I brought that up.
when I'm celebrating my birthday every year, it's with the people celebrating Christmas. So like I learned to like depreciate like things like birthdays and Christmas, where like. That's a norm to me where like I'm not like
one
it's
of my
a
best
family
friends, Brandon, was
born
on Brandon Davis, a future a genius of technology and video games and art, and a good friend of mine, who would probably have a lot of things to say about this capitalist system that we live in. He will be on the show eventually. He was born on July 4th.
Yeah, I'm part of the war. I'm part of the war on Christmas. You want a war on? I want a war on Christmas. Let's have it.
Strap up, dude.
Fuck Christmas.
We're gonna have candy canes that are actually grenades.
Yeah. Let's get political.
Absolutely. We're gonna put a bunch of rocks in stockings and throw them. Yeah.
I blame Donald Trump. The war on Christmas.
Everything that could.
I'm not a Donald Trump guy, but I'll go to war. I'll go to war on Christmas.
We don't need to talk. I like to just call him POTUS 45.
45.
Because it's all about his brand, That's what it's always been for him, is putting his name on gold shiny buildings around the world. And every single time that a person says his name, I'm not like going to be like Voldemort level where I'm like, you can never say it. But it's like, you're just you're helping him.
It pops on my radar so much, like
especially like the way the podcast technology is going to be. Yeah. I'm probably not going to sit here and transcribe this whole thing, and I'm probably not going to caption the videos.
It's okay.
I hope. I'm trying to do things for people with disabilities, but I can't do everything all the time. But eventually, like, the computer systems are there where they're just, if somebody wanted to search, when did, ThatKidCry talk about pedophilia, like, just probably it'll be tracked from like the fact that you spoke it.
Just type ThatKidCry and pedophile in the search bar on Facebook.
That's a terrible rap name to have.
Just ThatKidCry and pedophile. Just type those things in the search bar and just go look at how many pedophiles I've talked shit on, because it's in there. You'll find it. ThatKidCry is one word.
Amazing. Amazing.
I keep the same energy every year. Like,
but where does the name come from? Because it's too weirdly coincidental.
Yeah,
they're talking about.
Cry is like.
I don't even want to unpack it. I just want to go with. Where did it come from?
So me and my buddy Daigle, who he's down in a gym in Eugene now. Like I can't remember the name of the gym, but like he's down there. Look up Jay Sule. He's got they're trying to get more members down there, but. Me and him got into like gaming on the internet. Like we were like, how you go look up.
I just got into gaming on the internet like 2 days ago.
Not like gaming. Like I'm talking like old school back in the day when we're we're like 12 years old, going on the internet looking for freegames.com.
Nice.
Like on dial-up.
Addictinggames.com.
Yeah, on dial-up. Like you're just fucking looking for these games. We found
Flash games, baby.
So
better have your shockwave
yes,
updated.
Flash games. So we're looking for we're sitting here looking for Flash games, little dumb kids, like, and we find rapbattles.com, and rapbattles.com is a forum about rap that had games on it. It had games on it.
Oh, no way.
And we were like playing games, and then we're
the
like,
best rap game is KanyeZone.com.
Yeah.
Kanye's head bounces around, and you try to avoid the center part, and it continues the part from N-words in Paris. He says, "Don't let me get in my zone.
Yeah.
Don't let me get in my zone.
Yeah.
Don't let me get." Okay, I'm sorry. I'm the
God
worst.
damn it.
Yeah, but anyway, these rap Flash games.
But so they weren't even rap games; they were just regular games on a rap forum. And then we ventured outside of the games.
Kind of like how World Star Hip Hop has like 2% to do with hip hop when
like
it comes to what gets
Centipede
views.
is on there. I don't know. No, but we were on there like playing games, and then we were like, oh, well, let's venture out and see what the forum's about. And we discovered a bunch of people writing raps, and while we're discovering them, we are deciding we write raps now. You know, like, and I was just writing disses on people. Like, that's how I got into rap, really, writing it. Like, I'm sitting on the internet writing poetry and diss tracks.
That's kind of like what I was saying. If you really want to try to go viral, somebody, if you diss them and you're actually talented, it's gonna get under their skin, and they're gonna say some shit about it, and they're gonna respond in some kind of way.
Yeah.
And then you're rich.
Yeah.
You know, just go after everyone. That's what Hobson did. That's what Eminem basically did to the industry.
We're making diss tracks and battles though, and then coming up, and after that, it was like
Even like these conscious
Here we
rappers
are.
like Blueprint. He was a battle rapper for a long ass time. Illogic, I think.
yeah,
Do you ever listen to their podcast? They're a podcast inspiration.
Blueprint.
And I'm friends with Blueprint on Facebook, and I met the guy a few times. And
Yeah,
he's
he
a
makes really
real
dope
ass
music.
dude.
Yeah.
Insanely dope music.
Yeah. I don't know
And-
much more about a lot of some people's behind the scenes stuff. I'd have to look more into podcasts.
Dude, you know what's a good thing about Blueprint? I just realized it. First of all, he does amazing production for himself. And someone who can be such a standalone artist where they produce amazing music and then rap over it amazingly is amazing. Sorry, that was very redundant.
He's really
But
dope.
the other thing is he is a conscious rapper, okay?
Yeah, but he's a good rapper.
He proves you can be a great conscious rapper who's fun to listen to and not be lyrical miracle swimming pool.
Yeah.
Because he's not lyrical miracle swimming pool individual.
It's more
spiritual.
calculated and precise what he's saying, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And more like
He knows how to write.
I'm
He's a
having
writer.
a conversation with you.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
why I like his podcast a lot. Super Duty Tough Work podcast,
Super
the most
Duty
infamous,
I like it.
infamous podcast on planet Earth.
Yeah, Sammy Wormhead started that Batman one now, right?
Yeah, the
See, I
Bat Fan Addict podcast. This is the
Yeah.
second time I'm shouting about it on my podcast.
Okay, yeah.
So let's go.
Yeah.
I was, show
Sammy
love for the
Wormheads.
people who have helped me in my life.
He's a beautiful man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he is.
Yeah.
I really like Evan too. I fuck with Evan hardcore. He's on that podcast. It's 3 people. I think the other guy is Ben Polanski, but I'm not sure. Who's also a talented musician. But that guy Evan, he was evil from The Illusionists.
Yeah.
Did you ever actually see The Illusionists?
Yeah.
Oh fuck yeah, dude.
Not live, but like I seen like
Do you know
their
Crosby,
music and all
Neal?
that videos. Huh?
Maybe?
Yeah, Ogar Burl.
Odar. Oh no, there's 2 guys. There's
there's
Ogar Burl.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
they're
Odar.
both in the same scene and friend group, and they're amazing people.
I don't know if I know Odar as well as Ogar.
Well, he doesn't go by Odar anymore, but he's Cross K now. But he's very, very talented.
Okay.
He produced the majority of the beats on my Ambition album.
Oh shit. Yeah.
And he's a really funny, brilliant guy.
That's
Great
dope.
takes on music. He's probably episode 154. Boom. And this is probably like 156, I think.
Numbers.
Yeah. I'm Asian, baby. Half Asian. Let's go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
dude. Well,
What do
are
we
you
do?
spiritual? Do you believe that you're part of something that's some kind of higher energy?
I don't know. I have I have things I don't believe in, you know. I'm one of those guys. Like I was super Christian for a long time. I went to both Catholic and Christian churches like all through childhood. Grew up on it. Like came up like thinking cuss words were bad, and don't drink.
I used
weed's
to run
the devil.
a light board at a pretty big congregation.
Yeah.
every
And
Sunday.
I was into all that, and I kind of fell out of it because I was like, I was asking a lot of questions that weren't getting answered, And when people couldn't give me answers, I lost my belief in what was real.
There was the spouse of the pastor at one of the churches that I went to regularly, and she pulled me aside at the end of a service, and bless her heart, I think she was definitely doing what she believed was a good thing.
Yeah.
But she basically put her hand on my shoulders, and she was like, she basically said that the only phrase I can directly quote is God wants your full heart.
Yeah.
She said God wants your full heart,
Yeah.
not just here at the church, but in your everyday life. You go out into the world living by the faith.
Yeah.
He doesn't want a small commitment. God wants your whole heart.
Yeah.
And to me, that was like, okay, and how old was she? She was probably in her late 30s. And how old was I? I was like 16, 15. And again, it's a difficult place to be like, don't do what you believe is the literal purpose of your life, which is to bring more people into your worldview.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't try to spread my non-belief.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
But
I also,
it did have the opposite effect on me. Like, there's that juggalo spirit in me.
Yeah.
That
the juggalo spirit.
Yep, that contrarian. Let's go. All right. I'm going to give God my whole heart by doing whatever the fuck I want.
Yes.
In a positive way that I think is good for everybody. That is my MO. So I'm spiritual, and I believe in a lot of cool things.
A Christian man who believes very, very much so that God is real told me that I was like Thomas in the Bible, and that to believe in Jesus, he had to touch the hands. And
touch the hands.
Yes.
The doubting apostle.
Touch the hands.
Absolutely.
And, so he
Isn't that beautiful that is in the
called
Bible,
me
though?
Thomas,
I mean,
and I put that in music now, but like, it's like where I believe what he says, like, I am that guy that, like, God's going to have to stand in front of me to prove he's real, because that's how I think, that's how my brain works. Like, and it's, I can't help that. I can't change it. I can't be a God-loving man for other people. You know what I mean? Like, other people are sad that you're not a God-loving man. They're like, you should just come to God. You should be, like, and I'm like, I don't know.
Right. I also think we live in a world that's full of people trying to deceive you and take advantage of you, and that's true for artists. I mean, you're talking about promoters, and so it's like, if you're living in that day-to-day realistic, this is my budget that I operate in the world with, this is my time, this is how much sleep and rest I can do, and like somebody, that's a quality that people like us have, where it's like, I want to see the proof in the pudding, man.
Yeah.
Like, don't bullshit.
I want reality, like, I want everything to be real. Like, that's the consequence of rap.
Okay. Well, here's a question I always ask people. What's one less... fucked it up. What's one way we could all be less stupid? That kid cry.
Better education systems, more money into schools. To give an example, like, while I was going through school, every time I would go to my next school, the school I was just at, like, the grade school would close down. The middle school.
No way.
I went from the middle school to the high school, and then the middle school closed down and combined with the high school. And that was happening as I was going through school as a kid, like, so small towns are like devastated by
small town school districts.
No funding. Like, they're talking about not being able to, they were laying off teachers, I remember, during being in school. Like, I don't know if that's happening for kids now or the bigger cities, because I tell my girlfriend all the time,
it's a problem everywhere.
Yeah, she went to
Rahm
bigger city schools.
Emanuel was a guy who worked in the Obama administration. Everyone thought he was cool, and then he was the mayor of Chicago, and he was like, we're going to close a bunch of these schools.
But I drive by schools now, and I see all these renovations happening and stuff, and I think the weed industry is helping, because the weed industry is giving a percentage to the schools out here, right? But I don't know if that's every state, but here
I see a lot of building projects, but also people have to write bonds and ask for bonds to be on the ballot. But we approve them in Eugene a lot, because Eugene is progressive and understands that schools and public projects
are important.
Yeah. Better schools make smarter people. That's what I think. That's how you be less stupid.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And they can't be the
what are we
only
like 14th
solution.
in the country on schools or something like that? Or in the world, I mean, on schools or something like that?
I would
don't know,
believe they were
crazy.
probably
Or
a
less,
little
I don't
lower
know.
than 14.
Yeah, I don't remember.
But,
Last time
you
I
know,
looked.
but it's hard to measure, and
it's like way low.
It's wild.
Something, but like we like people come here and laugh at how stupid we are.
In Oregon, especially because Oregonians are cool people, man.
Yeah.
We're wise, and we have picked a spot where it rains a lot.
Yeah,
and we're tough, but we that leads to us wanting to take care of people when they're out on the street. We're compassionate, intelligent people, but we have a terrible education system. Yeah. Now that hasn't always been the case. That's been the case for the last 20 years or so.
It goes up and down,
right? Well, they just approved, I believe, is 1.1 billion dollars. It's called the Student Success Act.
Yeah.
But that
it's one of those things you got to keep funding because kids are still being born.
More of them.
It just keeps coming.
Yeah,
like you got to keep. You got to maintain
with
that
everything
shit.
else. You can't just call it good.
You're like, we did that one time.
They're like, all these kids show up and they can't get binders and journals and pencils and shit.
What the fuck is going on?
And they're like, you can't keep funding the shit? Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, but anyway, that Student Success Act passed, but it was a party line vote. You know what that means is that only one party voted for it in the House and the Senate of the Oregon legislature.
It's beautiful.
I'm not even sure that every single Democrat voted for it, but not a single Republican in Oregon voted for it, and it's sad.
Yeah,
it's sad.
Yeah, I don't know what to do about all that.
I don't know what to do about either of these parties being the home of their political identity.
Yeah, I'm not into
the
the Democrat
Party
shit.
is not a good representation or a good hub of positive conservatism.
Yeah,
and the Democratic Party has a ton of flaws that they're frustrating to me. Also,
so many flaws on both sides. Like, why are we flying blue and red flags still? Like, can we just be independent? Can we be individuals?
Green,
yeah. Can our votes?
yellow,
can our votes matter? Like, can we? People.
I like periwinkle as a party color. I want to start a party. It'd probably be called the Love Party.
Yeah.
But I even think something really snobby like Better Way Party or the Better Party or the Best Party would be pretty funny.
I think rural
bipartisan party,
rural and urban communities are divided.
The Unity Party,
they're divided.
Absolutely, man.
But they need different things. So
Sure.
the rural community needs to be able to vote on rural community things, and
yes, I honestly
the
believe
urban
that
community needs to be able to vote on urban community things. That's everything. Yep. The suburban, everything. Everybody needs to be able to vote on their own areas and keep it up. And maintain it, what their needs are. Because everybody's needs are
local
different.
Government needs to communicate better with their communities so that everybody can be involved where they can really make a big difference.
Well, I see the rural communities.
Pretty much anybody can become a mayor of their town if they work their ass off and meet the right people and work and engage and knock on doors and blah blah blah.
I'm not as liberal as people think I am. I see rural communities complaining about.
Dude, rural communities are fucking oppressed
they
by
think
the government.
Well, and they're saying that cities are
disproportionately underinvested in.
Cities are voting their decisions for them, and they don't like that. They say there's more population in the city, so I have to do this because the cities voted for their needs and not mine. And I get that. So let them vote for their needs and let them vote for their needs and keep it in districts or something. I don't know what you got to do, but there's already counties and stuff. They obviously need to reevaluate what represents everybody or what area is which. I feel like. Everybody can have a piece of what they want, and it's not as complicated as people make it. I think people are looking for feuds too. It's about teams. It's just like football. Like is it the Niners or the Raiders, baby?
Sure.
What are we doing? Is it
well, there are things that have not been a budgeting priority of the federal government for particular reasons, and generally when people are in power, they just want to keep shit the same way. I'm sorry if it doesn't matter if you have a D or an R next to your name. That's a general truth. Or you're going to get replaced by somebody that the corporations are going to fund more and lobby harder to replace you. I'm sorry.
People are busy blaming each other for their circumstances. Is what it's where we're at. We're locked in you're it's your fault. This is happening to me, and it's your fault. This is happening to me.
The best thing, if you're at a town hall with a senator or a congressperson or even a city councilor, and you ask them about this bullshit that they're doing. What's the best way they can get the room on their side? It's not gonna be to go into the details of the bullshit they did and go through that accountability. They're just gonna attack someone else.
Yeah,
that's exactly how Trump won. Is that he just basically made the case that Hillary is gonna be the most corrupt,
terrible,
crooked.
Yeah, he was like, she's gonna be terrible. I don't think she would have been much better. Than
he promoted the idea of jailing her.
Yeah.
Which, by the way,
I wrote
yesterday,
in Bernie.
There was a years-long campaign by the Department of Justice that Trump underwent to try to get Hillary Clinton busted on something legal, and they just said, we just finished this campaign. We couldn't find anything.
Yeah.
So that didn't get much news coverage, but it's pretty fun. It's pretty funny.
I was one of those stubborn, bitter people that helped Trump win by writing in Bernie, and Bernie endorsed.
Well, in
Hillary.
Oregon, you didn't. Because she did win Oregon.
Yeah, but Bernie endorsed Hillary. But
she's
like,
she's a. I have some positive opinions about her on some things, but dude, you didn't earn the Oregon vote because you didn't come here.
Yeah,
Trump came to Eugene, where I live.
Yeah,
he came here at least.
And there's
she didn't bother to come. She didn't come to
Portland,
Michigan.
Eugene, and Corvallis run the state. Like that's and it's mostly liberal, right? Like so, and that's a thing that shined through.
It's mostly Multnomah County, dude. Like Gresham, Hillsborough, those people got some power and money too.
I got a lot of internet friends that like are pro Trump, and they fight with the other friends, and like everybody's like, why you got these people on your timeline, blah blah blah. Like they want you to delete them or like not even entertain them.
For me too. I try not to delete speech and delete people out of my life. Yeah. I just respond.
Yeah,
and frankly,
I've had dudes rage
a lot
out
of
on
people
me for sharing a Bernie
don't really
article.
fuck with. Right. If somebody is big upping some statistically wrong bullshit, that's usually when I actually call them out, and they usually don't have a whole lot to say about that. We might go back and forth for a little bit because I pick my battles. Yeah, I don't just get in there and say this meme is off color and I don't like it.
Yeah,
if I think the person you literally shared this shit that's not factually true. Like this congressman from Arizona, he shared a picture of the Iranian prime minister with Obama and said it's a good thing these people aren't in power or whatever. Yeah. That photo was totally faked and Obama had never even met that dude. Yeah. So that was literally a blatant lie. And I asked some people on Humanity UG News, my Instagram, where I'm sharing a daily news magazine. And it's a music zine, and I recommend a dope album every single day.
Okay, cool.
It's pretty fire, dude. It's pretty fun. It's a fun time. But on there, I ask people, it's like, do you think there should be laws prohibiting or penalizing this behavior? Because the deep fakes are going to get way, way more convincing.
Yeah, they are.
Trump has already shared a video where a hand was sped up to make it look more like a chopping gesture by this guy, I think Jim Acosta, this journalist who was questioning him. Made it look like the guy was being more aggressive than he was. Literally a faked video. Or Sharpie Gate. Do you remember that? Did you see that? There's a lot to keep up with.
There's so
Trump
much,
was
man.
trying to demonstrate that Alabama would be hit by a hurricane.
Yeah.
That Alabama was not remotely in danger of being hit by. So there was this weather zone that was shown to be in danger. Trump took a Sharpie, extended the circle out to include Alabama, and then
I never saw nothing like that.
Exactly.
I try not to watch him now because I know he's just doing bad shit. That's where I'm at. Like, I don't even pay attention. I watch the big speeches when he comes out and addresses the country. Like I'll watch something like that, but I try not to watch the drama, the Twitter shit, and then when you do see it, because I know I'm gonna lock horns with my friends on the internet.
Sure.
If I do, I'm not trying to sit here and tell you guys what to believe. I believe what I believe, and I'm gonna vote how I vote, and people get wrapped up in that the political debates and stuff, and I have some kind of influence. That's why I share articles.
That's actually why Bernie, as an outside, not outsider because he's been in Congress for a long time, but ideologically an outsider.
Yeah.
In terms of
he's not even a Democrat, right? He registered as a Democrat, because he had to.
He's running in the Democratic primary, exactly. But lifelong independent, and that is a guy who worked his ass off to get elected the mayor of his town, Burlington. He barely got elected. Do you even believe how long, basically, establishment political I don't know, institutions, collectives of people that are just that have this entrenched power have been working against this guy at every step of the way. And that's why he's so alienating and brash.
Yeah.
One, he's from Brooklyn, but two, he's had to fight that kind of shit. For example, when he took over the mayor's office
you
of
watch
Burlington,
old videos, he's saying the same shit in the old videos as he's saying today. Like
absolutely
40 years ago.
Absolutely.
Like this guy's going hard.
word for word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. He's
Spoke a little bit quicker back then.
That's real shit. That's real, I like the real shit.
But he's in amazing shape too for his age because he takes an hour-long walk with his wife Jane every single day.
That's great.
It's amazing. Yeah. So
I ain't
he's a
worried.
cool ass dude. But when he was elected mayor of Burlington, he had to take over that city administration with all of the same people that the person he defeated had chosen, which is so fucked up. That's not how it's supposed to work.
Yeah.
Imagine if Trump had to take the White House and all of Obama's cabinet. They're working together with Trump.
Yeah.
That's not really how executive government works.
Ryan.
So he's been disrupting and being I don't know, in his own way marginalized for a very long time.
Yeah. I mean, there's every president's done something bad too. Everybody's like,
sure, everyone that's been elected.
I've never really seen a president that didn't have some dirt on them or something, or made a decision that was a little heavier than they should have made or something.
That's the sad thing is that God, couldn't we have had Obama's espoused ideology, Obama's philosophy that he spoke about with the Trump level vigor of barreling forward an agenda?
Yeah.
Obama was
changed a lot of things.
Obama
Preach
was
change.
Not a particularly transformative president. He didn't change a whole lot of stuff in the government.
Yeah.
He spoke about how he was going to. I mean, it was a great change to not have unqualified golf vacation obsessed.
He still did fun shit.
Goofball like W,
skiing, jet skiing and doing all stuff like this. Like it wasn't like he's just working the whole time, but he was bombing kids.
He deported more children overseas, right? Than any other U.S. president combined, I believe.
Yeah, he bombed areas that had kids and families in overseas in the Middle East. He was
a drone president.
Yeah, he was doing strikes and people weren't.
That's one of the worst. My least favorite things that Barack Obama did as president. He went to Flint, right, and
he sipped the water, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Twice.
I remember
in
that.
A press conference also is he wet his lips with the water and made it and acted like he was really sipping it.
Yeah, it was weird. I feel like
if you're gonna do that bit as a stunt, at least get a bottle of Aquafina in a cup and stage that and drink the shit.
Yeah.
What kind of an idiot is he to think? Is this like a level of delusion that he thought?
Yeah.
I don't know. I actually like him as a person, by the way. And I'm critical of people because I hold people to a high standard, especially myself. Mm-hmm. But I like people a lot. That's my fundamental thing. I like him as a person.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm so disappointed when I'm like, you're supposed to be this credible,
He's super likable when you
intellectual with the people,
good talker,
human being, and you patronize these people that are, by the way, on a serious level. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be. These kids are still going to have lives, but they're going to be affected by the brain damage from the lead in the water. Mm-hmm. There's no recourse for that. There's nothing we can do to fix that level of damage because it's in your drinking water.
Yeah. You see the things in the media of Elon Musk and people helping out like that, making machines and trying to make filters and stuff, right? But then you don't know. I'm not down there seeing what's being installed and what's being
right.
You see media slapping back and forth whether that things are going on.
The media just doesn't even talk about Flint because it's so sad and there's no positive.
When I see an article on Flint, it's people saying that people don't talk about Flint.
You're right.
That's the articles on Flint. And then it's the article starts off like that every time.
It's it's this opportunity. Once it was a big story. It's a good human empathy is good. We're all it's kind of like we're talking about trying to build community, help your neighbor or whatever. But everybody brought in all this bottled water from elsewhere.
Yeah.
But then I don't think that kept up.
Yeah.
It's like when Haiti has an earthquake.
There's a lot of
And
problems
then
out here, man. Like even
there are
like
a
the
lot of
Sinaloa
problems.
cartel and like
There are
things
a
like
lot of
that. Like
problems.
cartels in Mexico, like the Mexican problem is a U.S. problem, right? Like also like because
Sure.
we need to help with it.
Well, you need them to have stability in their country.
Yeah, and how do
yeah.
you build stability? Like they're gonna end up invading them or something soon, right? Like I think they're gonna put troops down. Like I think we're gonna
That's
see that
something that one
in
of the
our
candidates
lifetime.
has actually talked about.
Yeah.
Buttigieg. I don't care for his campaign much.
I think we're going to
Smart
see that in
guy.
our lifetime with any president that gets elected, though. Like, I think that no matter what, that problem's going to come on soon. Like, and people don't watch what's going on down there. Like, they're divided by like 6-7 cartels, right? Or different.
Right.
Like, the cartels are like ruling districts, and the cartels are government down there right now. Like, but there's also government, and there's also police, and there's also military. Like, and they're all divided. Like, I was watching things like you could see military standing against police.
Okay.
In Mexico, like because they're divided, right? Like
really,
there's like cartels taking over different sects of like the different places, like different properties, different areas, like funneling drugs in. Like that's what's happening with the drugs. Like like they've traced heroin fentanyl mixtures from Mexico to Seattle. Like that's directly affecting our neighborhoods.
Fentanyl is such a danger, and it's so
that's directly affecting our neighborhoods, and people don't talk about it.
A lot of different
it's a hard
things people
subject
don't
to
know
talk about because you're talking about a group of people like
who use it,
and you're also
who are addicted to it.
But you're also talking about Mexicans, like, and that's a hard conversation for people to have for some reason, like, and they're generalizing, like the same way when 9/11 happened, people are talking shit on the dude at 7-Eleven and all that shit, like the dude in the store that's wearing a turban, like they're talking shit on those guys because there's like a cultural impact, right? Like
I had a terrible experience. I literally went into a 7-Eleven with a friend.
Yeah.
His name is Quinn, and we walked in.
But those guys aren't bad people, right?
No, not remotely. So there's my thing. We're walking out with snacks, and we're supposed to hang out, and I'm in middle school, so whatever. He's in 7th grade. I'm in 8th, I think. And we walk out of the 7-Eleven, and he's like, I'm sorry, but I just don't know how we're supposed to, like, look at a guy like that and not think he's a terrorist.
Well, Mexicans get the same treatment, but it's immigration. So they talk shit. Everybody associates a Mexican person with immigration, like out here, all the white people. Right. Like there's a lot of fucking people out here just like talking shit on them like that, like casually, like it's like everybody or something. Like every Mexican is an immigrant, or like there isn't
or
people
undocumented immigrant, or they call them illegals,
or that people aren't looking to get documentation right now in the middle of a long ass process that takes forever to do. We should make those processes easier. Why wouldn't we want a bunch of more people paying taxes or like helping out the communities?
Dude,
if you
absolutely doing some of the jobs that we are so
make them a citizen.
That we benefit from a world where we get their agricultural production or we eat at many restaurants, and it's many Latino and Hispanic communities who are upholding those back of the house jobs in our communities and paying the taxes from those, paying in billions of dollars every year into Social Security that they'll never get to actually take advantage of for themselves.
Like South Park shit, bro. Like they've been preaching this stuff like forever, and it's exhausting because you can't like combat it. Like, and I think we don't even get to the cartel conversation because we're sitting here hung up on immigrants and Mexicans, and like we're like, I'm like, no, like let's bring them in, let's save them from what the fuck's going on down there, and go fix what's going on down there. I don't care what they do. I'm not even like pro-war or anything, so it's like it's hard to say go invade. Like what is the conversation? You got like El Chapo and El Chapo's kids being like famous, like, and our U.S. government helps make them famous, and like it's they've proven that the U.S. government gives resources to the cartel before, like that's documented. Like so it's like. But it's
like how we gave Osama bin Laden a bunch of weapons.
We've given weapons to Saudi Arabia. We've given weapons to Iraq. We've given
Trump
weapons.
has opened the floodgates to give to Saudi Arabia.
It's crazy, bro. Like, why are we over there fighting when there's shit like there's fentanyl laced heroin up in Seattle? Like, what are we doing?
Our infrastructure, our roads, our bridges are falling apart, and the budget will always be there for weapons.
Yeah.
And that's one of the, everybody's known for so many years that's one of the very like most, you don't get anything out of that investment. Like you just enrich those people. And I guess you build the political, unity that comes with being at war with someone and demonizing other people or fighting over resources or whatever.
Yeah.
But like weapons of destruction do just that. They destroy.
They say Mexico
They
has
don't do a lot
lithium.
of building things up. Yeah.
I think you'll see that in the media too.
Yeah.
I keep watching.
Well, we talked about.
I've watched a bunch of podcasts and all these other people talking about it too. Like, there's this Ed Calderon guy that I've been watching. He's like an immigrant officer. Like, that's where I'm like where he was like working down there in the shit, and like he comes out of it, and now he just does podcasts and writes books and talks about like his experiences. And he's like, "There's a lot of shit going on, guys. Like, and you guys are blocked from that information." He said that he posts shit about what's going on down there, and like Instagram and Facebook flags it, and they'll take it down. Like,
wow.
So like I follow that guy on Instagram. Like, I was watching like Joe Rogan podcasts and shit. Like, you're watching, and
he's had a lot of great interviews with people.
Yeah, I love watching that shit. Like, I like watching a good conversation, like something that's
absolutely
like that's.
I hope people are getting that out of this.
Yeah, like,
even though I'm silly and I jump to all sorts of different things.
Man, we're all over the place.
Yeah. I love it. Well, on the topic of immigration and how we need to see all of our beautiful neighbors as beautiful neighbors,
people may not even want to hear me talking about that shit. Like, I don't care. But I'm
here to. I came to your house in Salem, and we'd never even actually met face to face.
Yeah,
just been internet.
Yeah, today's the first day we met.
Absolutely, we're having this great chat.
Facebook friends,
right?
Facebook's real, people.
Real life community connections.
Boom.
I'll put some stars up.
Yeah.
No, I probably won't. This will be great, man. And no technical interruptions. I've been checking the phone, make sure that we keep the video.
This one's dedicated to all those guys.
I'm going to edit the audio, compress it, limit it, blah, 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 make it sound all nice and beefy and fat and nice and warm. Then I'm going to throw it on the video track, slide them in place. And that's pretty much all I'm going to do.
This one's dedicated to every man who's ever got mad at me on the internet and posted my address or said he was coming over and he never showed up. Guess who's here?
Me. Don't at me, but come at me, bruh. I want to show those people what we got for them if they want to come here and talk shit.
Don't come a rockin'. If you can't rock.
This nice The audio listeners are like, what is this person holding up at 1 hour and 41
I have 4 kids. There's kid shit everywhere. This is from grandma.
It's actually really awesome. It reminded me of being a child. It was cool.
Yeah.
I did. Before we get off the immigration topic, I want to talk about this person that a little dirt off my shoulder. I feel like I took her to account. I took her behavior to account. And held that accountable because she was her name is Babe Buchanan, and she was a leading advisor, one of the chief advisors for the Mitt Romney presidential campaign. And she came to Carleton College where I was a student, and she gave one of our weekly like little guest speech. It's called Convocations, and she talked about immigration, and I basically asked her the question of like because she kept calling them illegals, and you know what? That's what I said was like, when you refer to these undocumented people who are not much different from you as illegals, I think you're implying a criminality about their character, and that's unfair. Yeah. And she responded, but
there's laws.
Yeah,
it's illegal.
Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, exactly. And
like, they're still people, right? Like, they're still humans. Like, so that's America's encourage,
or like
used to encourage immigrants to come, right?
If you overstay a visa, which is the number one way that the undocumented immigrants end up being in the U.S. and living here. Yeah. There's so many things that could happen in your life if you're while you're in the U.S. and like let's say you get married or blah blah blah.
Meanwhile, you could just walk into Canada.
You're in a relationship, but you're not ready to get married, but you're here and you're rooted. You might even have a kid, but you don't have citizenship, and that's but you're contributing. We need to find ways to bring those people fully into the fold.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you could just walk into Canada though. I got buddies that walk into Canada like to go visit their friends, like, and you don't even have to not promoting that you go do that, but whatever. Right. But I mean, it's like that's how that shows. It's about 3:30.
3:30.
Okay, we've been talking a while.
Yeah, we can wrap up within 15 minutes, and I can get back to Eugene for my work shift.
Yeah, I think that like there's an obvious color problem too. Like people like focus on color for immigration, right? Like,
yeah.
You don't
absolutely ethnicity.
Like that. We're not talking about Russians all the time being here. There's a lot of Russians out in Salem. I tell you that.
Interesting.
I know there's a lot of Russians here. You know, like I've met a lot of Canadians out here in Oregon who are out here just walking over the border. You know, like that's, and those are white people though.
Exactly.
So to not acknowledge that there is a problem there, like people are way more lax on a white person, like because they're not.
Dude,
yeah.
Did you ever see like this like flushdownKateBrown.com Oregon governor stuff?
Yeah.
Everybody's like trying to recall Kate Brown.
Yeah.
And however you feel about that, I guess not however you feel about that, because it'll probably influence how you feel about what I'm saying right now. But like they were selling shirts and merch and stuff, and one of them, I have no idea what it was trying to say that's clever that could be interpreted as non-racist.
Yeah.
And it said Oregon isn't brown.
Yeah.
And her last name's Kate Brown. Okay,
Yeah.
she's a bisexual governor. She's
but they're
white,
also
so she's
it's
not
a wordplay. So they're also talking about brown people.
Yeah, that's what I felt like. I was like, "What are you?
That's
Oregon
what it feels
isn't
like.
brown. Like what place? What could you be talking about? Because we actually have a lot of soil."
Yeah,
we're very green and brown.
You're not talking about the earth, are you?
I literally don't know what you could be talking about. You're saying Oregon isn't brown. You're comparing us to California.
A metaphor has two sides.
Washington.
What are we talking about the other side there? Like
I don't.
But
get it.
I mean, Kate Brown personally, I don't have any feelings on her political stance and all that because I don't know enough about it to like stand behind it or whatever.
It's been wild to watch her ascendance.
I know Kate Brown helped me personally though.
That's amazing. I met Kate Brown. She
didn't help me. I don't know who she is. We don't know each other. We never met in person. But she signed a bill that stopped landlords from raising your rent over 7%. And my landlord last year, when she signed this bill and pushed it through, forced it to go through, my landlord was trying to raise my rent $200+.
Wow.
And her bill caused him to only be able to raise it like $93. And so like
that's a big difference for you.
And it impacted my life for an entire year. And this year he raised it again another 95, but he couldn't go above 95 because that bill's still in effect.
Amazing.
You know, like so like that's 2 years in a row Kate Brown's affected my life personally, like where like I'm not displeased with the job she's doing. I think that she's probably got a lot on her plate and a lot of decisions.
Got a ton on their plate, and she's been a very socially progressive governor in a state where that's really not popular in a lot of the state.
You got a lot of people to please. And the rural communities are upset with Kate Brown. Like,
right.
I get it.
Right.
They need other policies. They need other kinds of help that Kate Brown isn't giving. And
so or at least not giving enough.
Yeah. So
it's been really interesting to watch.
It changed my life a little bit. Like I'm a few $1,000s richer the last 2 years
because
there are
a lot of Democrats in Oregon doing really good work legislatively. There are Republicans who are doing good work too, but the Speaker of the House, Tina Kotek, is saying she wants to finally move the state to call it an emergency, that we have a homelessness emergency, which is like, no shit. Any city.
I've never seen Salem the way it is right now. Go drive downtown before you leave. Like I don't know if you've seen it, but it's crazy.
And with the exception of the Occupy Eugene 2011, 2010-ish era, where it was really a protest based, like
it's rough in Eugene too, heavy
city.
down there.
Yeah, like, Eugene, it's a more intense problem because these people are in vulnerable situations living on the street.
Someone was telling me yesterday it's more violent down there too because the cops and the homeless fight, right? Like they're rebelling.
That's probably true in many cases.
Yeah, and up here I think it's getting to that point where like they've taken the ability to, you're not allowed to camp in tents on the sidewalk now. So
interesting.
Now all the homeless people downtown are sleeping in their own stuff. Like they lay their stuff out and just sleep on their stuff because in the open, because they're not allowed to set up their tents legally.
Okay.
So now they're just all out there and you can see them and they're doing their thing. And it's kind of like it's a wake up call, I think, for a lot of people driving through and hanging out downtown.
One of the things that the federal government does or theoretically does is that the First Amendment, right, to gather to peaceably assemble in public space is a federally protected right. And so that's one of the things that makes it hard for some people who try to push through policies like that. I don't know how you do that.
Yeah, it's legal to sleep on the sidewalk, but not to camp on the sidewalk. So like they can sleep on
Fascinating.
the sidewalk. Yeah. So that's where they're at
right
now. And they tried to camp out at the Capitol building and protest there, but they sweeped them the same day.
Right. Well, I mean, it's a challenge because I believe in moving towards a better future on this issue. But we need to start building affordable places to live faster. Yeah. The problem is a lot of the population growth in Oregon, it's gentrification. Yeah. It's people who have wealth that come in. You know, it literally, I don't want to just be all on my bashing California tip here, but let's be real. University of Oregon tuition prices would not be nearly as high if it were not for the fact that these Californians can afford to make them that high. And so even in-state and out-of-state tuition are really high at University of Oregon. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of the
cost
people
of living is getting higher because the investment that they make is in these really posh, like kind of skyscraper student housing complexes.
Yeah,
that I think one of them has a tennis court on the roof.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's wild.
A lot of the people you see downtown are kids. There's like young people.
I want people who have economic means to come to Eugene.
Yeah,
I do, but I don't want it to be at the cost of the people who are generationally invested in this community.
Yeah, it's crazy out there, man. I don't know. There's not any one solution.
Well, I got the beard while I'm living out in my car, and I'm trying to get everything in line to where I can have a better situation because. Showers and a bathroom. I mean and a kitchen, a microwave, boiling water. These are things that I had come to appreciate a lot.
Yeah.
So thank you for letting me take a shower. Cool.
Yeah, man.
Do you have any other things that you want to get out there? And also, I got to make sure that people know how to find whatever you want them to find.
Yeah.
I know that you're ThatKidCry, all one word, on Spotify. Mm-hmm. That's where people can hear a lot of cool projects.
Yep. I got a project coming out called Bear With Me. It's got singles like Bare Necessities, which I've been performing a lot at the shows and getting good responses. I got a song called Angry on there that I had a video for. My Anxiety with Rizzle and Imposters on there. There's a video for that with
We heard a snippet of that here.
Yeah. So all that stuff's coming out on Bear With Me. There's a bunch of other tracks on there. I got like locals that are doing good on there. People that a lot of you probably never heard. But I mean... people that are dope, because I don't just work with just a bunch of whack artists. Like I work with people who I think I respect and I like them, and there's something about them, like that.
Isn't that tricky when you love someone and they might even be a hip hop fan, but then they try to do it and they want you to collab or help or mentor.
I've had friends that like don't rap, and they're like, "You have the gear, let's rap."
This is not your lane. This is not your thing to do.
Yeah.
I had this guy
tough.
God, he turned on me. This person is a very interesting person. Actually, she, because they now use she, her pronouns, and I want to respect that. But this person sent me the wackest rhymes when I was in college all the time, and they're still there in my Facebook Messenger. I'm sure.
You gotta tell them they're whack. You gotta tell you gotta be honest, but there's nice ways to be honest. Yeah, everybody doesn't want to be mean, and nobody wants to hear that they suck. But you gotta you gotta steel sharp as steel. You got and. Like I ain't trying to sharpen my steel on a piece of wood.
You gotta admit though, it is a requirement if we want to keep it real as rappers who believe in the craft of lyricism. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. If we want to do that, like economically, there needs to be like the market needs to have
honesty.
Like, a bunch of whack rappers. We need the whack rappers exist because we all antagonize them constantly. Yeah. And if they don't exist, imagine if everybody who is rapping is actually really good at rapping. Nobody can talk shit about the low-hanging fruit anymore.
I would be at peace.
You'd be okay with it. You go to a Chinese restaurant and like rap your order, and then like the server
I'm sick
like
of this.
raps
He's
back
a good,
at you.
I'm sick of this. He's a good person bullshit. I'm sick of it. I want community to happen, but I think everybody has their lane and what they're good at. So like if you want to be involved in the community, there's many ways to be involved. There's elements of hip hop, you know, like you don't have to be what you're not good at. You can also be a videographer. You can also be a producer. You can also be an engineer, a DJ, a graffiti artist, a dancer. You can be anything. You can be a pyro guy. You can be lights and sound, you know, like it's you can be a promoter, you can everything. You can be a host of a show if you're funny, like, you know, like,
that's so true.
There's a lot of things we can do together, and people don't all have to be a rapper, like, and the rapper doesn't have to be the center of attention either.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like
why
are we listening? You know, like the DJs are talented as hell, like let's look at the DJs, you know.
I'm trying to think of if I've ever heard of shows where the rapper did the whole show without like being out on the stage. I can't think of any. Like, this is the inverse, so it's a bad example, but Kendrick did like the Damn tour.
Yeah.
And he had a band, but they were all behind the screen the whole time. Mm-hmm. There was like visuals and like shit.
So you don't see any of them.
Yeah, but you hear the drumming and stuff, but it's all about him being out there and rapping alone.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, from the theatrical perspective.
You want to make these guys gods. Like,
and also like... Well, people lift you up to be a god when you come out of your community. You're representing your community well, and you're doing something beautiful, and it's being Pulitzer level recognized.
Yeah,
you know, like it's hard to say, you know, because dude, that has to be a goal for me. I've been to Barclays Center and seen Travis Scott perform with Check West, and it's like the people go nuts, and that's church, man.
I remember
arena shows are like church.
Yeah, I saw Kanye West with Rihanna and Lupe and Nerd. They were all on the Glow in the Dark tour.
Sick. You saw that?
Yeah, and then but I remember Kanye
NERD,
coming out of the ground.
I don't think
like,
you want to say nerd.
Kanye Nerd NERD. Yeah. Kanye came out of the ground on a mountain.
Okay.
And it like rose as he's rapping, and then like a spaceship came out of the sky and like abducted him, and there's like, it's the craziest shit I ever seen.
Did I just see Montana on your arm, even though you were saying Montana got in the way of your Minnesota show?
Oh yeah, it says fuck Montana. I flex on Montana, okay, every day.
All right.
That was the X on the fuck Montana on the fuck. That's where we broke down.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
We all got
Get
matching.
up close to the camera and show them.
We all got matching.
We're signing off.
Matching motherfucking tattoos.
I don't mind Montana. I think Montana's actually pretty cool.
It's not that bad.
They had to see it.
They fucked me over, and it has some symbolism for us, you know, like Montana's weather fucked me over. The people, I have nothing terrible to say about them. Mm-hmm. Although I went to a crazy festival and saw the N-word and all kinds of stuff all over their walls, and they were like, it was a rough place. They had a hip hop festival there. The guys on the festival actually blacked out all the bad writing and all that. Like, they were making some changes there, but like like, just, I think there's like a loneliness in Montana, but it's beautiful, you know, like you drive through. I've driven through there a bunch of times. I've done shows there with like a guy named Kosher and stuff like that. Like, but I don't hate, just to be clear with the people.
Yeah, my cousin played on the Montana Lady Grizz soccer team, and she was good. True.
Yeah.
I had a great show in Missoula. There's a guy named Big Shade who rocked his set.
Yeah.
And then a couple other friends who were on that show were also awesome too.
Yeah.
So shouts to I didn't even mention. There's actually 3 things that I think are going to be big in this decade. And we're about to sign off. I think
we got this
super
rocking horse
rural.
Right,
I said white guys screaming over 808s, but also just like hip hop, even like urban artists in super rural places doing videos and like doing rural rap. Like, did you see Kanye's Follow God? And he's trying to build shit in Wyoming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's building like domes and stuff.
Yeah.
And he's making his own community.
I mean,
Bill Gates
a lot of the areas
thing.
in the Rocky Mountains and in the West Coast are probably going to start to see more development. I mean,
Bill Gates is doing the same thing. He's making his own community, right? It's like a smart community. They're making like the city's operating on like computers and artificial intelligence.
Shouts to Bill Gates, without whom I wouldn't have gotten an amazing higher education scholarship for 2 different schools. It was
rich
crazy.
People are making cults. People, we got.
That's the message we're putting out there. How do we be less stupid, Aaron? Stop the rich people from making cults.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, knock it off. See?
Knock it off.
We just told them off in a YouTube video that'll probably get about 87 views, so we have the real power. Peace.
I'll get you more than 87.